It's frustrating, Joel. I could see it on your
And
face, and I could see it. Like it just,
well,
it
I don't like. Again, I watched the Giants play yesterday
right. You don't
before
like
the
good.
win. I don't like to watch bad baseball.
Yeah,
I think
no, I hear
this is the
you.
highest level of baseball, and that things should be done well on this level.
It should,
And
and
I
it
think
shouldn't be repeated in 3 years in a row where the sloppiness continues and the baseball gets worse. And we continue to hammer this manager on why does your team continue to get worse as the season goes on? And he goes, listen, it's still in front of us. Okay, I hear you. I hear you, Aaron. Like the opportunity's still there in front of you, but there is a problem that's festering from internally here. And for some reason, this messaging is not working. And that's where I want to ask you, Joel, as the beat writer and the former beat writer and the current MLB columnist. When does the owner say, I've had enough watching my team get worse as the season goes on, back their asses up into the playoffs by luck, and then beat up on a bad AL Central team in the first round or get bounced by a better team in the first round because they just play baseball better? That's what I want to know. How does Hal Steinbrenner feel about this?
so I think Hal works very hard to be the antithesis of his dad and have patience and feel that playing, winning consistently and getting in the playoffs is not as easy as I think the general fan base believes. And he thinks Aaron Boone is good at his job. He thinks Brian Cashman is good at his job. He values the relationships and the loyalties. And the reality is, it might happen again. Look, Ryan, I just did the podcast with John Heyman. I
Yeah.
think I said this on you on Thursday also. And John said it, what I said to you on Thursday, and I agree. The Yankees could miss the playoffs and win the AL championship. They could miss the playoffs. They could win the AL championship. Like these other AL teams are not that good, just like they weren't last year. The five best teams in baseball, I think, are in the National League. And if all things work out but short series are weird, then a National League team will win the World Series again. Um, but the Yankees are talented enough to get through
They
this.
have a plus
And
92 run differential right
the
now.
one thing I've seen is like in those bad years, all but the Judge injury year, which is what 23,
Yep.
when they missed the playoffs. Then they have had these lulls. They have picked up in August, late August, September, and made a run to the finish line and gotten in. And that is like I don't want to sound like Aaron Boone. That's still possible. If I were in charge, I would not be accepting this. We'd be changing things. Like if it wasn't personnel, it would be emphasis. And if you could not change the emphasis, then I would change the personnel. Okay? I I think I told the story on a previous uh, webcast of ours. I'll tell it again. I was the beat guy in 92. We did not have a baseball columnist. So when a column needed to be written, I wrote it, which shouldn't be done. Like the beat guys have to deal with people every day when they write opinion. Like, look, people see these webcasts, they read my columns. I have shit with players and executives all the time who don't like what I do, but that's the gig. But I'm hired, paid, and it's my job responsibility to have an opinion and to open up a vein and be sincere and
Right.
not sugarcoat it. And if that means that somebody in the sport doesn't like me, that's the ramification, I believe, for doing the job real well. But I had to write a column in 92, and I got domineered by somebody who was my boss and said, hey, you got to deal with, they're terrible. The Yankees were terrible. Not 92, 91. Yankees are terrible. They can't really keep this manager. And it was obvious. The manager was Stump Merrill. He was going to get fired at the end of the year. And I wrote a column about why he needed to be fired. And I'm the son of a laborer. My father was a truck driver. And back then, I literally picked up the paper every day, a physical paper, and I opened the paper to my column. And this is not hyperbole. I literally threw up that I had said a man should lose his job, that I had written for everyone that somebody should lose their job. Now, I know in this day and age where talk radio and cable yell, everyone gets fucking fired every day. But literally since that day in 1991, I have never called for somebody's job.
Right.
I broadcast and write in a way to show you how I feel
100%.
without saying, hey, somebody should fire your father from the job of truck driver or manager. I just won't do it.
Oh, I hear you.
I won't do it. I understand the appeal of you're not tough enough. Cashman should lose his job. Like, all right. Has there been anyone yelling from the rooftops about how horseshit they are at baseball for the last 24 months? Like, that started it, has repeated. Like, there are ways to tell you and hopefully an audience how I feel without saying another human being should lose their job. Because I'm not going to vomit about it again. But if anyone thinks that I think that this is a job well done, they have not been reading me or hearing me or seeing me for the last 24 months. Because I do not believe that this is a job well done. And I'm going to treat my audience as intelligent enough to understand what I am implying when I say that somebody in charge is failing.
I hear you, Joel. And that's why I was asking again, pointing the direction at Hal and how he would feel about this and how you feel about it is how, I wish we knew the mind of Hal right now and we could hear from him and get his true feeling and opinion on it because it's not great. It's not great to watch. I do want to spin this forward, right? So like there is still a lot of baseball left, believe it or not.
Well, there's so much baseball left. Like again, like those Yankees, I wish I had it in front of me right now. I'm telling you, they were like 52 and 57. I mean, 144 game seasons in late August, and they got in because like every 20 games, like so much could happen. Ryan, we were doing shows at the beginning of this year about what a great offseason they had. Like, and now that feels stupid. And there is a moment where if they finish this season 40 and 20, where we'll go, it's 162 games. There's ups and downs. They figured out how to pull out of it. Judge got healthy. The starting pitch, whatever, the bullpen really was locked down after a bad initial thing. Like, that could still happen. Having said that, because the same problems are re-arising in multiple seasons, I think that even if it's now, I'll say this. I think Brian Cashman has tried to address some of it, right? When you do Bellinger, Goldschmidt, McMahon, you are trying to address it.
Yeah. Even Max Fried is great defensive pit. He fields his position well and smart. Yeah.
Right. And so to me, like there is let's not say that they're not acknowledging it in any way, but it feels too slow.
Yeah.
And I just think that sometimes if you don't change the preacher, at least you have to change what they're preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very much that whatever is being preached from the minor leagues to the major leagues is something they have to change the wording, the tone, the emphasis, the seriousness of how important it is. How I always go back to this, every 90 feet brings you closer to a win or a loss. It really does. And that's why a homer is so valuable. It gives you 490 feet in one swing. Like most baseball games are going to end 5-3. That's kind of the history of the sport. So every time you stop somebody from getting closer, or you do get closer yourself, you increase your odds to win the game. And so do not throw away the value of that. I know that's a weak arm center fielder. The ball is bouncing. He has to go to his right. I must make a hustle double out of this. I got to get out of the box. I can't be playing a game. I know that like if somebody does I think I hit a homer and I jog to first base and it hits the wall and you only end up with a single. What I would not tolerate is a first base coach who yucks it up with the guy. Again, I might not say what should happen to anybody, but that's unacceptable. And it's happened.
Or a third base coach sending someone who is just coming back from a hamstring injury, rounding third, not even touching third yet, and the outfielder already has the ball in his glove, and you're sending him home.
Terrible send. Even with 2 outs, it's a terrible send.
It's
Uh,
just it's all around, Joel. It's all around.
that's what I'm saying.
It's
It's
all
like
around.
I feel like when you're not uh, minding your P's and Q's, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, pick your letter alphabet thing you want to say. When you're not doing this, bad baseball seeps into your life.
Yep.
And that involves coaches, players, etc. And I just think that tone, emphasis, wording, who's saying it, how they're saying it. If hugging a guy isn't working, you do have to find the ability to kick him in the butt. It's not what you want. Like, there are all kinds of different people who are motivated in all kinds of different ways. Some of them, I'll tell you the story. It's a very famous story from 1996. I'm sure a lot of people, if they're Yankee fans, know this. Is um, with I'm going to say it was against the White Sox. I'm going to say Cecil Fielder is the batter as the tying run, and Jeter is on second base with 2 outs. And he tries to steal third base and gets thrown out. Derek Jeter, one of the headiest players you'll ever see. Cecil Fielder, a home run hitter up. They're down too late. Derek Jeter is going to score on any hit from second base anyway. And he's thrown out. And the next time he comes into the dugout, what Derek Jeter does is he walks right over to Joe Torre and Don Zimmer. If you remember, they're always sitting together on the bench, wedges himself between them and just sits there. And it's his way of saying, go. I know I did it wrong. Go. And because he does that, Torre just lets the moment hang a second, pats him on the thigh, and it's over. And Derek Jeter will tell you today how great that moment was. And Joe Torre will tell you how great that moment was, having a player who understood he needed to have the accountability to come over and say, I fucked up. I'm now going to sit down, and if you need to yell at me, you can do that. And Joe Torre, because he did it that way, and he knew how smart the rookie Derek Jeter was, said, you've got it, patted him on the thigh and said, don't do it again. And it was done. So your manager always has to know what reaches each player.
Right.
Right? And so if Jazz Chisholm is still saying after a ball game, I would do it again, you have not had the right emphasis with him.
Nope.
So if it was a kick in the butt or a hug, I would try something else. And by the way, I would put it on video in a hitter's meeting. Every mistake, but also every good play. This isn't just punishment.
No.
I would, part of the hitter's meeting every day is, here's a bunch of stuff I like from the game yesterday. Here's a bunch of stuff I don't like. And I would get minute, because you're trying to win a championship, minute. Hey, our trail runner didn't help our lead runner. Our third base coach didn't get down the line far enough to show the runner where it was. The stop sign came too late. Hey, like, you've let the ball bounce an extra time in the outfield. That allowed the guy to get to first and second. You've got to come in and hustle that. But here's Cody Bellinger turning a routine base hit into a double. Here's Caballero creating a run. Here's a terrific defensive thought, pumping to first and getting the trail runner. What great thought. Make it part of your culture that you're emphasizing the smart play over and over again. It's not just like loud songs like, woo, we're getting ready for the game. And now we have a funny video about like Boone picking his nose on that show, whatever you're doing in there. Like, I would turn it into a film session every day. I'd show plays around. Like, the Giants, Helio Ramos didn't know the infield fly rule a couple of days ago. Literally gets caught off second base. Didn't know the infield fly rule. Just walked off the base.
That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy.
I would not assume all my position players on any team, including the Yankees, know that, hey, I got you. But we had a player not know how many outs there was this week. We got a guy
Joel, they teach
off.
in-fly fly rule of Little League. It's Little League rules, man.
I get it. Would they also teach next hitter or trail runner helps the guy to home plate? Let's count the times we see the Yankees do that. It ain't 100%, I'll tell you that. And so therefore, if I have to emphasize and treat you like a little leaguer, I will. But I would certainly put that up, because you don't know if there's a guy in the room. No one's going to raise their hand and say, I don't know the infield fly rule.
Right.
But somebody might not know it. And if it happens to your team after it happened in the major leagues this year, and you haven't shown it and said, hey, everybody, here's the infield fly rule. First and second, no outs, 1 out. Bases loaded. No, if you haven't gone over it, Shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on the player. I agree. Little league. But shame on you. We're not going to get fooled on this. Ever. Does everybody got it? This isn't happening to us. And I'm not talking about the Yankees. I'm talking about every team should show that play. Because if one guy doesn't know the rule, what's the chances it's only one guy, Ryan?
I know.